here at the Brevard Zoo is wildlife conservation through education and participation. Now that's kind of a mouthful, but at least in part what that means is that a portion of your admission fee today, or your membership fee, will go to our global conservation efforts. Now these include giraffe conservation in Africa, jaguar conservation in Central and South America, and then right here in beautiful Brevard County, Florida, we have a number of conservation programs, including one for the bird called the scrub jay, and another one for sea turtles. Coming up on our left side here, we'll be passing by a portion of our Lands of Change loop. Lands of Change features the birds and animals from Asia and Australia. And that means you can go on a walkabout with our kangaroos and emus. Or you could meet our Komodo dragons. Or you could take a stroll through the two-sided aviary that we're passing by here on our left. And we'll talk more about the aviary on a return trip. Just recently here at the Brevard Zoo, we opened a new exhibit. It's called Sculpture Safari. It consists of 16 life-size metal sculptures of wild animals. Now they're scattered all over the park, but there's a great example coming up on the left-hand side here in just a moment. You'll be able to see a family of 4 elephants walking through the tall African grass. The babies are a little hard to see till you get up close, but they're there. All of these sculptures were created by young people from Nairobi, Kenya in Africa, and they're all made from reclaimed auto parts. Inside the tunnel here, down on the ground on our left, 3 large round white objects. Those are actually ostrich eggs. They were laid by our very own female ostrich here at the zoo. Each ostrich egg can weigh as much as 3 pounds. Now that's roughly the same weight as 2 dozen chicken eggs. Now as we exit the tunnel here, that brings us out into our animal habitat. I just need to remind you, our animals are wild and they can be a little unpredictable. So one may walk right up to the train to check out all the passengers, or you may see them lying or standing next to the track. We just ask that you please don't shout at them, don't wave your hands around or reach out and try to touch them. We don't want to frighten our animals, and of course we don't want them to frighten you either. As you look to your left from the train here, occasionally there's a gap in the trees. You'll catch a glimpse of our Niami River. You'll get a really good look at the river in just a couple of moments. But Niami is actually the name of the Zambezi river god in Africa. He's kind of a strange looking guy. He's got the head of a fish, the body of a snake. Now our guests 5 years of age and older can take a guided kayak tour around the Niami River. It gives you a little different perspective on all of our African animals. Besides, it's kind of fun just paddling the kayaks around. Once we get past this last patch of scrub palms here, you'll be able to look across the river to your left, through the railed fence, and into the habitat where we keep our greavy zebra, also our southern white rhino. You can see several of the zebras over there. You get a really good look at those animals from our Expedition Africa platform. Also, if you look down the river, the left fork of our river here, you might catch a glimpse of a couple of our giraffes standing out there. They might be feeding among the trees. Greavy zebra, incidentally, they're the largest of the zebra breeds. Now, you may have heard no 2 zebra have exactly the same stripe pattern, and that's true. They're kind of like fingerprints in that way. The stripe patterns allow us to identify individual zebra amongst a large herd of zebra. Coming up on our right side of the train here, the number of animals just relaxing right now in the middle of the animal yard. First of all, the big brown ones, I'm pretty sure you can identify those on your own, but we'll talk about those in just a minute. Let's talk about the brown and white ones with the really long curved horns. Those are called scimitar horned oryx. They're a type of antelope that live in the desert regions of northern Africa. Both males and females in that species can grow those horns, and the horns reach a length of about 4 feet. On the left side of the train, we've got some smaller animals that look kind of like deer. Those are actually impala. Impala are another type of antelope. They live live in the savanna regions of Africa. The pollard champion jumpers, from a standing start, they can jump 10 feet straight up in the air. While they're running, they can jump 30 feet forward in a single bound. There. Coming up on the left side of the train here, standing over next to our little feeding trough, this is our female ostrich. Her name is Wendy. Wendy's got kind of grayish-brown feathers. They make her a little hard to spot, but that's the whole point. Female ostrich have that coloration to help camouflage themselves while they're sitting on their nests. Wendy's got some pretty good-sized wings, but she can't fly at all. She's completely flightless. To make up for it, ostrich can really run. They can run at speeds up to 40 miles an hour. Keep that up for 30 minutes at a time. All right, our two big brown animals over here, I'm pretty sure you know what they are. These are our two camels. These two actually happen to be brothers. That's Sammy on the right, Frankie on the left. Sammy and Frankie are 10-year-old dromedary camels. Dromedaries are the ones that have one big hump on their back. There's another type of camels that have two humps, but those come from Asia, not from Africa. They're called Bactrian camels. Now, I often hear people say that camels store water in their humps, but that's not quite true. It's actually fat that's stored there, but it is the fat that allows them to go long periods of time in the desert without food or water. Now, our scimitar horned oryx, I mentioned, they're also desert animals, but they have a different strategy for survival in the desert. They don't have a big hump on their back like the camels do. Instead, they can allow their body temperature to reach 116 degrees before they ever break out into a sweat. And that, of course, allows them to conserve water on those hot desert days. Coming up on the left side of the train, sitting on the ground right next to the track and smiling up at us, we've got the skull of a Nile crocodile. That's a real skull. That crocodile, when he was alive, was about 20 feet long, weighed about 2,000 pounds. Now, we don't have any Nile crocodiles here at the Brevard Zoo, but we do have their American cousins, the American crocodile, as well as the American alligator. You can see both of them on display in our wild Florida area. The Nile crocodile has a well-deserved reputation as an extremely dangerous animal, but they're not actually considered the most dangerous animals on the African continent, at least for humans. No, the most dangerous animal in Africa for humans, it's not a lion or a leopard or a cheetah. It's a hippopotamus, believe it or not. Even though hippos are vegetarians, they're extremely territorial, and they react angrily, sometimes violently, to anyone or anything that invades their space. All right, we're coming back into our tunnel now. The Brevard Zoo is getting ready for our annual Halloween celebration. It's called Blue at the Zoo, and we always put up a number of interesting decorations and so on. The zoo is open evenings during the month of October on the weekends, and come and visit us if you can. That's what all the paperwork is going up on the left-hand side here. Down to the ground on our right, those three ostrich eggs again. Now, you may have noticed that each ostrich egg has a hole drilled in it. These were unfertilized ostrich eggs. The hole was drilled to allow us to remove the contents, the egg yolk and egg white, and that allows us to place those empty eggshells out here for display in the hot Florida sun day after day. Coming up on our right side, we've got our two-sided aviary again. First half of the aviary here contains our cockatiel flock, along with a number of other exotic bird species. The second half of the aviary contains our lorikeets. Now, lorikeets look like big parakeets, but they've got blue heads and orange fronts. Lorikeets really like nectar. So if you like that young lady over there that carries in a nectar cup, well, you might become very popular because they might sit on your head, your shoulders, your hands, as long as you're carrying some nectar with you. Now, the cockatiels get just excited for something different. Cockatiels prefer seed sticks. So we have both seed sticks and nectar cups available at the entrance to our aviary. Some very colorful birds coming up here at the end of the aviary. Perched up high there's a couple of orange birds. They're called scarlet ibis. The green building in front of the train here is our Komodo dragon exhibit. If you haven't seen a Komodo dragon before, I encourage you to stop by here and take a look. They're really an interesting animal. In fact, there's one right there, the other side of the plexiglass. He's staring out, looking at all the people. Komodo dragons are the world's largest lizard. They come to us from the island of Komodo, which is part of the country of Indonesia. And that brings us back into our train station now, everybody. Please stay seated until the train comes to a full stop. You're going to be exiting the train to your right, going out through the gate here with the exit sign on it. Please look around you, make sure you have all of your belongings with you before you leave. I want to thank you all for coming to the Brevard Zoo today, and especially for joining me here on the Cape to Cairo Express. Once again, my name is Randy, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day here at the zoo. And thanks so much, everybody.